with the 141 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Kamari, Ramsey, DB, USC. Go Texas! Viva Mexico!
You know, I'm glad the international fans clearly are having a lot of fun in Pittsburgh.
Dude, they're going hard in the paint. Pittsburgh.
Facts. Kamari Ramsey, the safety out of USC. Texans, once again, it feels like they're having a pretty good draft in terms of guys that could be playmakers.
Feels like whoever the DB coach is at USC, they absolutely love him because this is the third year in a row. First, they went with Caden Bullock, who's become an outstanding ball hawk on the back end. Last year, Jalen Smith, who was out for the whole year with an injury, so we haven't seen him play yet. This year, it's Kamari Ramsey. 3 straight years, the Texans have gone to USC to find a DB.
See some
pretty
hits.
Yeah, man, he likes to smack people around, knock them around. Let's play Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Here's the Titans selection at 142.
What's up, Pittsburgh? With the 142nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Fernando, Carmona, guard, Arkansas.
Real easy one on this one. Like, there's another fist. This guy's a brawler and a bruiser, and that's what the Tennessee Titans were looking for. They wanted somebody off the bench, some guard depth who can be physical, and that's what Fernando Carmona is. Played in the SEC. You know, you'll notice that the technique, he wants to play with technique, and then the rep gets rolling. He's like, screw it, let's get it on. Let's just start. It's going to turn into a fist fight. Let's make it happen right now. That's kind of how he plays the game. Starts off with good technique, but if it gets a little grimy, he's willing to get grimy with it. There's some physical limitations here. I think there's some scheme limitations, but Carmona's tough, and offensive line coaches love tough.
With the 143 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Reggie, Virgil, wide receiver, Texas Tech.
Vamos Reggie, I like him. Came from Miami, Ohio, 3 years there. Is a 2-year starter, 1 year at Miami, Ohio, then came over to Texas Tech. He wanted to show and prove and say, I can do it. And that Texas Tech money brought him over. And he did a really good job. This is a player who's very light on his feet off against press, can beat press. He's slender frame, but he's actually very good with contested catches, which is something you don't often see with slender wide receivers. Ran a 4.57, which probably hurt him a little bit. It's not bad, though. This is about, his tape says he's a 5th rounder. When he ran a 4.57, I thought he might get drafted a little bit later, but you can throw out round projections in this draft. They're just all over the place, and it's something we can talk about in a second. But he's a good football player. He really has a good feel as a wide receiver. And look at this, former high jumper too, Fosbury flop. And you need somebody
that's right, bang on.
Yeah. In the off season, if you get a little, bet at a charity basketball tournament.
Yeah, you take him, let him throw the alley-oop on the firefighter's head.
You know, with the hair and he's flying in there, you got a little jaw.
Little jaw.
Wow.
I mean, not as explosive.
Wow.
I'm just saying, I'm not.
Let me go check his vert.
Trust me, it is not what Morant was able to do. Just Lance, by the way, just because you live in the state of Texas here, Virgil, 6th player from Texas Tech. Texas A&M has got 8, and Texas with 3. That doesn't seem.
Well, it's just the nature of, recruiting classes. Then you got, transfer portals really changed everything. Sometimes you transfer portal a bunch of guys in, sometimes they go away. The Longhorn draft picks will be back next year. It's setting up that way.
Here are the Panthers.
With the 144th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Sam Hecht, center, Kansas State.
Well, if you like good centers, then you'll like Sam Hecht.
Who doesn't like a good center?
I mean, look, he's about as flawless technique-wise as I saw this year. Sam Hecht is maybe my favorite center in this entire draft because he's got great body control, great hand placement, good core strength. I don't know about the range as a blocker in terms of, getting out into space, but what I do know is when he centers you up as a blocker, you're not really going anywhere. He's got really strong hands, and I think these are, for me, guards and centers, the most important things are strong hands, good core strength, and good body control, and he checks all three of those boxes. I think Sam Hecht is a future starting center that the Carolina Panthers are going to be very happy in years to come. They got him in the 5th round.
According to PFF, didn't allow a sack in 850 career pass block.
If you like
snaps.
that, if you like that kind of stuff.
Sign me up for that. Chargers right now on the clock. After this pick, they will have 2 more, both of them coming in round number 6.
With the 145th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Nick Barrett, D-tackle, South Carolina.
So Nick Barrett, the selection, and once again, I think it's sort of interesting, and we go on the defensive side here from a Chargers perspective, but you look at what they're doing with this class, feels like a whole lot of big bodies, and then trying to plug in some holes here, especially on the offensive side, which we can talk about with Mike McDaniel now, their new OC. But what should I be focused in on from the South Carolina defensive tackle?
I mean, heavy-handed, big body. Love the fact that he was a team captain. Made all the starts this season. And you talked about the Chargers and what they're evolving to, trying to be a more physical team. That's the thing that stands out to me. They want to make sure that they're physical, they're rugged, and they're built to beat the teams that they're going to face in the division. As you think about the way that the landscape is changing in the AFC West, you got to make sure that you have a team that is built for it, and they appear to be versatile enough to be built for the changes at the top with the Broncos kind of taking over, snatching the crown away from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Broncos who've been quiet in this draft.
Yeah, and Barrett he's in there to get into blocks and just say, you're not going to do what you want to do. He's broad, he's strong, kind of like Bucky talked about. And so that's his job. His job is just say, we're not going to let your blocking scheme do exactly what it wants to do inside. Rotational player, should get reps pretty quickly for the Chargers.
Meanwhile, it is the Cleveland Browns who are on the clock right now. This will be their first pick coming up on day number 3. They got a couple more still to go, 3 more in the 5th round. They have 1 more 7th round selection, but boy, they have helped themselves out in a big time way, which we will discuss in just a moment here, but it's hard not to like what they've done with their first few selections.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, come on. Fantastic. All right. Real quick, I want to shout out my lovely wife back in Switzerland, Karina, our 2 beautiful children, Naomi and Liam. I almost forgot my own kids' names. With that, with the 146th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Parker Brailsford, center, Alabama.
So I got to ask you this, Bucky. I don't think I put a comp for Parker Brailsford, but the guy that I always think of when I watch him is Nick Harris. And Nick Harris is also drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Nick Harris came out of Washington. He was 6 foot. He was almost 6'1", almost. He was 32-inch arms. He was only 302 pounds. And I just thought, man, this is he doesn't look the part, but he's just tenacious. Parker Brailsford is even smaller. Parker Brailsford also came from Washington before he went to Alabama. 6'1" and 7/8", 32-inch arms, 289 pounds. And he's drafted by the same team, the Cleveland Browns. What's really strange when you watch Brailsford, you're going to see him, if you see him from behind, he does not have the legs, the calves. He doesn't look like he'd be an offensive lineman, number 72 right there. But what he does is he plays angles better than anyone. This has been a quote-unquote weakness of his forever, so he knows he's a smaller guy, so he's already figured out, Bucky, how to work around that with angles, with quickness, with hand placement, with technique. And you want to not like him, and then you keep watching the tape and you say, I know he doesn't look like it's supposed to look, but guys get blocked.
Yeah, guys get blocked. He is really sticky at the point of attack, and it's funny, man. We talk about centers, depending on the neighbors, the guys around them, the guards, because when you're a center, you have the ability to use your neighbors for body help, and his ability to understand who he's working with, how he plays together with his teammates, and then his athleticism, that works in his favor, even though he's an undersized.
He's going to be a future. I mean, he's going to be a starting center in the league. His offensive line coach from this past season. I had a chance to talk to him for a little bit. Shout out Coach Cat, who my son works with over there at Alabama on the recruiting side, or did last year. And O-line coaches, you have to be smart as a center. Sam Hecht is another smart one, picked just 2 picks before. You have to be smart. You have to get your offense lined up. You have to recognize there's a lot of moving pieces on the interior. You got to be tough. You got to be smart. And then, different schemes require different things. And for Parker Brailsford, it's just going to be, I can go get to the angles and get to the landmarks quicker than the defense can get there. That's how he has to win for Cleveland.
What's up, Pittsburgh? Thank you so much for your hospitality the last week. I've heard you've got a new rule in now. If you see an International Fan of the Year, you have to buy him a beer. Big shout out to my family back home, to Lisa and Lois, I love you. To everyone that supported me throughout this little journey. To my man Darren Bottoms, who had to put his son to rest last Thursday. I'm really sorry I couldn't be there for you. Robbie, this one's for you, brother. With the 147th pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, America's team, the Washington Commanders, select Joshua Joseph, defensive end, Tennessee.
You could make the argument that instead of a beer, a glass of water would suffice. Just saying, for a couple of these fans as they're rolling up. I get it.
Salty right now.
Look, they want to. Look, I'm all for it. Let's have some fun here, but kind of do it responsibly. What are the Commanders getting here?
Bucky, how do you like a 7-foot wingspan on a sub 6'4" pass rusher? That's crazy. 35-inch arms right at it, and his wingspan.
Oh, there you go, right there.
That's it.
Little
right?
button jerk. Little button jerk. He's going to do it. He's going to have it all because the arms are there.
This is why coaches like arm length, because it allows you, if you're coached up and you got enough strength, there's certain things that you can get to that a short arm edge can't get to. There's certain moves and he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of traits. It's just a matter of becoming a more skilled rusher and just continuing to grow his game.
All right, well, back here on Draft Center, just a few moments ago, the Seahawks and John Schneider made it known, hey, I want to trade out of that first round. That did not happen. So they tried to collect some assets, but here's one of their selections at 148. Bo Stevens, guys, kid out of Iowa.
Really good tape. Better tape than Jaden Dugger, if we're being honest about it, who went in the 3rd round. He is, from a body type standpoint, he's not he's not the big bruising body type like Jaden Dugger, but Bucky will tell you this. You've been doing this a long time, Bucky, and Kirk Ferentz has probably been there the entire time you've been doing it.
Oh, 100%.
There's some limitations occasionally offensively, but size-wise, but there's never a limitation from technique with these guys.
Yeah, really solid. Whenever you get out of the guy, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah,
love it.
By the way, that was a pick that was owned by the Cleveland Browns. They actually traded the Seahawks a 2027 4th rounder for that pick that ends up being Bo Stevens. Meanwhile, the Browns.
Give it up for the Browns. Love it. With the 149th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Cleveland Browns select Justin Jefferson, linebacker, Alabama.
Not to be confused with that Justin Jefferson. Other side of the football, different athlete, the whole deal here. But the linebacker now trying to help fill, once again, some gaps for this Cleveland Browns team, and they're looking for some playmakers.
Smart, plays fast, undersized, will linebacker, who's a run and chase linebacker. The Alabama coaches absolutely loved him. Just has a good feel for how to play the game. The question is, you see him right there. He looks a little bit like a safety. So, it's just a size issue with Justin Jefferson. But smart player, good play speed.
This is pretty significant. Ian Rappaport putting this out here. Saints trading for former Raiders first-round edge Tyree Wilson. This according to him and Mike Garofolo. This was a guy a couple years ago. Raiders took him 7th overall pick. I remember some of the draft conversations, Buck. We were even having about this dude heading into that year's draft.
Yeah, he was climbing, and I remember the conversation being about his trace, how long he was, how athletic he was. Kind of lit it up. Never worked out for the Raiders, but the Saints get a chance to do it. And remember, they had success with Chase Young, who had kind of fallen off a little bit, and watched him before he made his way over.
Yeah, that's part of that draft buzz, and it is presented by Pfizer, so that is definitely buzz-worthy when we talk about.
You wonder if Mickey Loomis kind of remembered Marcus Davenport a little bit, body-wise type, and said, this time it's going to work for Tyree Wilson. Hey, take a swing with the guy who's got traits.
And we're here at the Flag Tournament. With the 150th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Dalton Johnson, defensive back from Arizona. Raiders!
I feel like we could have brought the Raiders a little stronger, just a touch stronger than
A little
that.
bit. It seems like they just kind of just learned it. They got to make sure they put, got to see it with their chest if they're going to do it. Would you like this? We're talking about the Raiders and how they're upgrading the secondary and the back end. Dalton Johnson had a really solid season last year. There you see at the bottom of the screen, 4 interceptions, 7 breakups. And when you're looking at the B-roll, he's just always around the ball. There with a nice interception. We're going to get him a better number because that 43 number is not a great number for a DB, so we got to find something there. But I do like the fact that you have him. You get Jamar McCoy. You got Mike Washington all day 3. Raiders kind of checking off some boxes, knocking it out of the park.
Stooks, by the way, one of his teammates that they drafted as well.
I mean,
They got Stooks, Genesis Smith. This is the 3rd DB from Arizona drafted already. I guess that's a new DBU. I don't know what to tell you. But tough, twitchy, instinctive. Dalton Johnson will also be an immediate cover teams player. He's a good football player. He's a good value right here in the 5th round.
Now here's a look at what the Panthers are going to do.
With the 151st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Zakee Wheatley, Penn State, defensive back.
He's still improving. I thought he would check in at the back end of day 2. I think I'm a little surprised he's here. He wasn't a big tester, which could be one of the reasons wasn't as explosive. I think Wheatley's a player who just, he's rangy and he can play over the top. He can close quickly on run after catch throws. So that's something you want to be able to do is get in there and get physical as a tackler. And he's physical near the line of scrimmage. I think my issues with him is, he's got as a cover man when he's forced into coverage, he can have some issues there. So I think you have to kind of protect him a little bit, make sure he's playing in zone, make sure he's not matched up man to man because that's where he can get a little bit lost.
Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos are on the clock. Keep in mind, they did not have a pick in the 1st or the 2nd round, one in the 3rd. And here on day number 3, already 2 selections. Sort of the headliner right now, Jonah Coleman, the running back out of Washington, they took with the 108th pick. But here it is now in the 5th round, 152.
With the 152nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Justin Joly, tight end, North Carolina State.
So Justin Joly, who is now the 10th tight end, check it, make it 11. I can do the addition there, 10 plus 1. So the 11th tight end now that we have seen drafted so far through the first 152 picks.
And for the Denver Broncos, this is important because they had Evan Ingram, but you want to get a younger version, a younger tight end that can play because maybe they can shave off some money down the line. Justin Joly, nice pass catcher, strong hands, makes it happen. Good catch. Don't like that uniform, but it's fine.
Yeah, it reminds me of Brevin Jordan when Brevin Jordan was coming out. He's got some of the same qualities. Really more of a pass-catching slot is what he is. So he's a tight end, but he's really more of a slot.
Here's the Packers pick.
With the 153rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jagger Burton, center, Kentucky.
Riser after the combine, there was started to become a lot of talk and a lot of love for Burton. He is a pretty good athlete. He's not real explosive, but good quickness. He's a player who is a very tough player at the point of attack. He can win that lateral race. So if you want somebody, if you want to look for a move blocker, he's very good laterally in terms of getting to the spot and beating defenders to the spot. Got good core power and grip strength. These are two factors I talked about earlier that I want from my center. And you know, I wasn't, when I watched the tape, I wasn't blown away by him, but he was good at handling the work in front of him, what they asked him to do, along with Jalen Farmer, who was drafted in the 4th round, his teammate. So that was they got another guard that might get drafted late as well. They've done a nice job over there from an offensive line standpoint of developing these players, getting the technique right and making sure they're efficient with their footwork. And Burton is one of those players as well.
Yeah, you just think about what we're able to do. Just 47 starts, being able to play both guards and the center spot. The Packers trying to make sure that they have multiple guys that can fill those roles. They've always done a really good job of quietly having a top 5 offensive line. He's a guy that can jump in that rotation and eventually develop and crack the code to see if he can get to that line.
Back here on Draft Center, it's presented by FedEx. Here we go. Next player off the board, going to the San Francisco 49ers, pick 154, Jaden Dugger.
6'4" with a 7-foot wingspan. He had 125 tackles this year, 13 for loss, and he's rangy. I think what you see is an ascending player. He's still learning to get off blocks. When he starts to get blocked, he rarely gets off of them. Still needs to gain some weight, add some muscle mass. You can see kind of thin arms there, but he's got real range and real tackle traits and tackle ability. When you have that 7-foot wingspan, you can go run guys down. And this is one of my favorite defensive tackles. He's got like so few starts. He barely started, and he's had some good defensive tackles. And then I watched the tape, and he had a combine invite, I said, I wonder why he's getting a combine invite. And I watched the tape, and I knew why. Very powerful at the point of attack, is good sliding laterally, and I think he's going to become a good rotational defender for a team that really does a good job with interior defenders, Tampa Bay.
Buck, we're down in Dallas for the East-West Shrine Bowl. We got now 3 consecutive Shriner guys that have now heard their name called.
With the 156th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select
George Gumbs Jr., defensive end, Florida.
Had the best vert at the combine among the defensive linemen, 41-inch. The edge rusher, now all of a sudden, now a new member of the Indianapolis Colts, trying to bolster that defense, guys.
I mean, you talk about just adding pieces to the defensive puzzle. This is a team that wants to be athletic and fast. We're in the 5th round. Chris Ballard going for these guys with the traits so they can find a way to just put all these athletes on the field and coach them up. He's gonna have an opportunity to kind of make plays as we think about some roles and some holes that are available on that route.
He's played wide receiver, tight end, and edge in college. He's just learning. Like, this is a good example of a player with traits, and he has a really hot motor. So he plays really, really hard. He's really, really tough, willing to do the dirty work. This was the Colts basically saying, let's try to develop him. He hasn't had enough time as a pass rusher. Let's develop him.
With the 157th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Detroit Lions select Keith Abney II, DB, Arizona State.
First team all Big 12 conference performer, back-to-back seasons leading the Sun Devils in pass breakup. So also a guy that's relatively physical. You look at some of those tackle totals, 52 back in 2024.
Yeah, but that's all good. I mean, but anytime you're a 3-time national champion roller skater, I can rock with you because I can skate, roll, and bounce. I can do all that other stuff.
You can do them all.
We can do all that other stuff. We can go down to things like we're in the ATL. I got all of it. I know he can skate backwards like I can skate backwards. This is nice. And because he can skate backwards, I know he can backpedal, shadow box.
There he is. There he is, Bob.
Oh, yeah, we get after this. We can get after this thing, yeah, but we just scooting around here. We just not playing around like we going fast. We can roller skate all day. That's what we did coming up. Yes. We got to be. Oh, you didn't know. You just getting the memo.
So, by the way, this is the footage 13 at this point.
Yeah.
It set the record, the 300-meter. I mean, this is crazy. I'm almost embarrassed. I didn't know that this was a thing.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You do. You grow up.
Powerful lower body.
I know you're from up north, but skating is a thing.
So look, he's low cut. Watch his body type and tell me he wasn't built to be an inline speed roller skater. I mean, look at him. And he's physical, he's tough.
Not afraid of
That's
it
also
at all.
an Aaron Glenn type of guy. Just, and by the way, he used to coach at Detroit as well. But Keith Abney, you know who he reminds me of is Amik Robertson. When he was coming out, Amik Robertson, remember him?
Yeah.
From La Tech, and he's a dog, and he even plays with all the injuries Detroit had. Amik Robertson continued to play outside, and because he was physical, aggressive, tough, could impact, the possession, impact whenever he was playing the football there in the catch space. This is the same way with Keith Abney. He's really physical, really aggressive, played outside despite his size disadvantage. Same type of mentality as Amik Robertson. I like Keith Abney a lot. I think this is a great pickup. I think he'll be a starting, just needs a little bit of time, but will become a starting nickel in this league at some point.
Okay, so I would love to see that footage again of the roller, the speed skating kind of thing going on. Do you remember like when we were kids, the roller derby thing where they used to fight? They used to put that on That was physical stuff. There was some speed. I mean, this is pretty remarkable. I mean,
there.
Getting your hustle on it, this is no joke.
Oh yeah, we're getting out. Like we're doing this like.
It doesn't take much to entertain me.
I mean, I feel like you haven't watched the movie ATL with T.I. and Lauren London when everything was at the rink, like that.
What was it called?
ATL.
Was the movie?
ATL was the movie. T.I. was starring at Lauren London.
2006. I feel like I should know that one.
Yeah, he's like this guy's literally a USA, like Team USA world record holder and champ.
Yeah.
Like he's big time.
That is impressive.
I'd prefer just to do the slow kind of like flashlight by Parliament Funkadelic.
Would you get on skates right now?
Slow skating.
I know you would not.
No.
Who wouldn't?
You.
Oh man, I get on that thing and I go backwards.
You would not do that. Stop.
Yes, he would.
We talk about this. There's no upside in that activity.
Basketball.
It's for the culture. That's for the culture. You got to dance around a little bit.
With the 158th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Michael Taaffe, DB, Texas.
All right, good pick, but can Taaffe get on skates?
No, I don't think he can get on skates. I don't think he can get on skates and kind of do that. But look, nice playmaker here. We're talking about trying to find a role. This is a guy that's kind of the brains of the outfit in the back end. Super smart, great instincts and awareness. You just talked about the interception. Little thin. Here's what I'm noticing about the Miami Dolphins, though.
Yeah.
They're beginning to find a profile and a type. And we're talking about the way that you want to change the culture in that locker room. High IQ, hard workers, guys that come from winning programs and doing those things. John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley have a plan for kind of eradicating some of the things that prevented the Dolphins from achieving at the level they should have achieved with the talent that they had previously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here at the bottom line. My last sentence. Taaffe's football IQ and special teams value might need to do the heavy lifting to overcome average traits and athleticism. He is a little bit small, but he's very smart, is great at getting guys lined up. When you have somebody who's going to be a backup safety, which I assume Michael Taaffe is going to be fighting for a backup safety role, you need to be really good on special teams. Sure. He's good on special teams. You also need to be smart. Those guys last in the league a long time because they're usually in the right place at the right time. And Michael Taaffe has a chance to he's not the biggest guy, but that special teams value that we talked about, day 3, it is enormous for a lot of these guys.
And a guy who believed in himself. He was a walk-on at Texas. He had a scholarship offer at Rice and said, I'm going to walk on instead, and obviously earned that scholarship.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to thank Special Olympics for giving us this opportunity, me and Taylor. With that being said, with the 159th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select
Max Bredesen, here we go.
What did John Todd call it? The Bredesen Bowl.
Bredesen Bowl, yes.
His brother plays in the league too, as a guard.
Yes, the Bucks and Vikings will play in Tampa. We got the schedule released, by the way, around the corner in a couple weeks here, so we'll get some more details on that. But what do I need to know about the Michigan kid?
He's just a old school hit you in the mouth fullback. I mean, if you like having a fullback on your team who will catch the ball in the backfield a little bit. Is a tough guy. You just got a linebacker playing fullback is basically what you have. So he's a very specific type of player. I didn't know if he'd get drafted or not because you got to need a fullback. But clearly, when you ask him to do his job, which is block, that's something he can do. But he can also catch the ball. So Max Bredesen and the Bredesen Bowl, we'll see if that. Well, he's got to make the team first. Let's make the team, Max.
Step one. Speaking of the Bucs and Ben Bredesen, let's see where the Tampa Bay squad's going.
With the 160th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Billy Schrauth, guard, Notre Dame.
Team captain, Notre Dame type of guy. Kind of plays a little bit upright, which I think hurts him in terms of his ability to create drive and really be a power blocker at the point of attack. But Billy's one of these guys who just, you ask him to do something and he gets it done. He's a safe player. I think the upside is a little bit limited, in my opinion. But when you look at the guards and the type of interior players that Tampa has, he fits that. He's a tough guy who is more detail-oriented and technique-oriented. And I think Tampa has been filled with interior linemen during the Jason Light era who are built and kind of play like Billy Schrauth in some regards. So not a bad pickup here. I just think he's a little bit limited and maybe one of those guys who might be a career backup who steps in and maybe gets an occasional start.
Had a knee injury too that cost him, most of the season last year. So also team captain. Just a little further context around what he's bringing.
Yeah, team captains, those are important in the locker room. I told you, I got a sense from Ty Bowles and those guys in Tampa, they just didn't like the way that thing finished up. So they made a lot of changes on the coaching staff, so you'd expect that would also leak into some of the personnel. I want to make sure you have the right guys on that mix so everyone's pulling the boat in the right direction.
Yes.
To announce the Baltimore Ravens selection, live from the UK, please welcome Manchester-based creator FG.
This is FG with current Ravens Zay Flowers and LaJohntay Wester coming to you live from Manchester, the salmon of knowledge, with the 162nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Baltimore Ravens select Chandler Rivers, defensive back from Duke.
I believe
Chandler Rivers.
I gotta check, but I think he's from the H.
Take a look at that.
Beaumont United High School. He's not, but on my sports talk show, I've had a call about him 3 different times from one of his cousins. Because what do you think about Chandler Rivers? This is before I even watched him. I don't know him yet. And then I watched tape. Next time he called in, I was ready. I said, man, this guy's pretty good. Yeah. I thought he was going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick. He is a really sticky defender in man coverage. You can see him right here in zone as well. Has good instincts, good eye balance between route and quarterback. You see right there, just a smart player with good anticipation, has a chance to see the field for the Ravens as a slot corner.
You're a good player. Good player. I'm telling you.
Where'd he go to school?
I mean, he just had that silly D on his helmet, but outside of that, it's good. It's good.
Here are the Vikings at 163.
Hi all. Thank you, Pittsburgh, for hosting us. It's been absolutely amazing. Shout out to all my international fans. With the 163rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Charles Demings, defensive back, Stephen F. Austin.
Pretty good college football program over there at Stephen F. Austin of late. I believe they won a national title here over the last 2 years, if I remember correctly, in the FCS. 4-year starter, long, he's got good speed, he's smooth in coverage, just hasn't seen. Now, he did go to the Senior Bowl and had some ups and downs at the Senior Bowl, but he's a little bit thin, which might be a concern for some teams, at least slender. He weighs 194. Doesn't always look that way on tape, but there's a little bit of a delay with his plant and drive, some of his firing on the ball. You feel like with his traits and his size and his length, he needs to have a little bit more ball production against the level of competition he faced. So that's something to keep an eye on. But good traits, good length, good speed. There's a lot of ingredients to work with.
Yeah, a lot of ingredients. And sometimes when you have a guy coming from a small school, you got to give him grace when it comes to making that transition up to the big leagues. And he came and you talked about the ups and downs at the Senior Bowl. Some of that is to be expected. And you can see him go through some of those ups and downs in training camp. But what you hope is his confidence stays intact and he has the ability to take his game to another level as we get closer to the regular season.
Were you at Green Bay when Tramon Williams came over?
I was all gone, but I remember Tramon Williams coming over and having to make that jump.
La Tech. He went to La Tech. He came to the Houston Texans camp. He was great in camp. They cut him. And I thought, he had a really good camp. Went to Green Bay, became a Pro Bowler. Sometimes, to Bucky's point, small school guys just need a little time to get acclimated, and they've got ability too. And so you always the FCS. But we take a look at Indiana, national championship with guys coming from all over the place, just mixing and matching. You think it's misfit toys? A bunch of James Madison players. The James Madison players are the biggest dogs on the whole roster. I mean, hungry.
That is funny how that happened. But, yeah, you get some young, competitive guys that can get in there. Happens. Small school.
Yeah. Is there one characteristic, because right now 3 FCS players, so Demings, Caleb Proctor, and Bryce Lance, the other one that have been drafted so far. Is there one specific thing, the commonality, FCS to the NFL, that is the biggest adjustment?
One, at that level, they need to dominate. It needs to be clear and apparent. We pop on the tape within 4 plays. We know, okay, this is the guy. And then when he has an opportunity to play against higher competition, how does he stack up? Whether that's in games during the regular season, all-star games, whatever that is, you want to make sure that the big stage and the bright lights don't overwhelm him. But if they can handle themselves in those situations, then you have a belief that they'll be okay when they get to the big boys.
It's funny because you're right. I mean, Caleb Proctor, it's one of the things you see is Bryce Lance dominated on his level. Caleb Proctor was a very productive player as well. Demings has some production. So if you don't have production at that level, it's tough.
Jags right now on the clock. This is their first 5th round pick. They have 2 more in the 6th and 3 more in the 7th, so they'll be busy home stretch of the NFL draft.
Hi Zoe. With the 164th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Tanner Kuzil, tight end, Houston.
Look, he had a little,
I like that.
He had a little trill in there. He had a little
Duval in the building.
He owned it.
Yeah, he owned it. And the Jags are trying to own this situation at tight end. People are wondering, why are they taking so many tight ends? Well, they're flipping the room. Bredesen Strange is going to be the primary pass catcher. But you're adding a couple more guys to the mix so you can mix and match those combinations. I am telling you, what the Rams did is they unlocked a can of whoop 'em when they went to those multiple tight end sets. And everyone saw the tape as it circulated around the league and how you can create mismatches with all those tight ends on the field. This is a long, loping strider, soft hands, being able to get it done. Look at that production, 94 catches in a single season, 3-time All-MAC. Yeah, the Jaguars are trying to add to that, to the personnel grouping so they can find ways to create mismatches.
Kind of a Mike Gesicki type of player, loves to get into the seam and cause some problems. You see right there when he gets up, he's got great body control to score touchdowns. He's not going to help you as a blocker. That's just not what he does. So as long as you know that going in, you want him to be functional in case you want to run it and he's in the slot. But he has really good ball skills. I think he's got to keep tightening up the route running, but he's got a chance to develop into a functional piece in a 12 and maybe 13 personnel grouping. So Tanner Koziel, very productive pass catcher. At 2 different schools, and Miami, Ohio, I think is where he came from.
Ball State.
I'm sorry, Ball State.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at University of Houston last year, where he did a nice job for that squad, for Willie Fritz's team.
Yeah, so if you're keeping tabs at home now, 12 tight ends that have been drafted so far in the NFL draft through pick 164. It's 165 that's on the clock right now in Tennessee. And as Bucky made reference to, 2 of the 12 tight ends have been selected by the Jags.
NFL Draft. It's such an honor to represent all the Titans international fan base. Thank you NFL for doing this. Shout out to my Titans fan in Mexico. I love you guys. Family. With the 165th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Los Titanes de Tennessee select Nicholas Singleton, running back, Penn State. ¡Arriba los Titans! ¡Viva México! ¡Adiós!
So this was a highly productive player rocking that Nittany Lions uniform, school's all-time leader in all-purpose yards and touchdowns.
Size, speed. He's 219 pounds, can run in the open field, plays hard, and he's not real elusive. He's easy to find if you want to know. Wait, I wonder where Nick is. Oh, there he is. But it just turns into a fight at the point of attack. Now, if you give him a crease and you misfit something, your run fit, you're gonna have a problem because Nick can make it. He can finish runs and then he can make it happen. But the other thing he does, he's a kick returner. He was a kick returner for 3 years at Penn State. So that's important.
We on Draft Center. It's presented by FedEx, the Buffalo Bills, with the selection going with another Arizona State player that's getting his name called, Keyshawn Elliott, guys, off the board.
Yeah, Keyshawn Elliott off the board. You just talk about the production that he displayed. And when I'm the Chicago Bears and we're looking to continue to add to this defense, we just talk about the ability to hit, run, and cover, to make plays, to have a nose for the ball. Instincts are everything when it comes to playing high-level defense, particularly in Dennis Allen's system. This guy's going to have a chance. I mean, we talk about 5th-round pick. He's certainly going to have to go the long way in terms of being a special teamer, but his instincts and awareness will give him a chance to make the roster and crack the rotation.
Yeah, so the Chicago Bears getting another piece to their team's defense. Anything that you liked when you watched the tape on him?
Keyshawn, yeah, I mean, he's big and physical. He actually tested faster than I expected. I thought he's kind of slow on tape, which was my concern. But when you see a player like, he looks bigger than his listed weight, and he plays like that too, plays physical, plays like an old school inside thumper. And that's what I like. I like the way he patrolled from tackle to tackle in the box. The question I have when watching him is, what happens when the plays spill out wide? What happens when he has to drop into coverage? Those are some of the concerns I had. Right now, in the 5th round, you're looking for a backup with special teams ability, and I think he fits that mold.
With the 167th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Jalen Kilgore, DB, South Carolina.
I feel for him. You know, that's got to be a feeling of absolute dread followed by relief that he lasted this long. This is, in my opinion, Jalen Kilgore is a 2nd-round talent. He was the highest-rated player on my board still, had a 6.3 grade on him, which is an above-average starter. He played nickel at South Carolina, but I felt like he was a little out of his element. He did it because the team needed him to. One of the reasons he fell, I think, is because he's not a great sticky man cover corner, but I just think he was out of position. He needed to play there. He can support the run. I think when he gets a chance to be a down safety, it's going to be a much better spot for him. Very good traits, and I think he's a player that fits the NFL mold of what you want out of a down safety.
And I'm going to say this, and I know he's probably disappointed they didn't go earlier, but it's a meritocracy once you get there. The draft position is just pole position. Yeah. He can earn his way and to finish out whatever he wants.
With the 168th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Kendrick Law, wide receiver, Kentucky.
Steve Smith's guy right here. Steve Smith and I were talking about Kendrick Law because he's got some serious speed. He was a Nick Saban recruit. Came over from Alabama, so you know he's got those traits, and one of his traits happens to be terrific speed, ran very, very fast. He had over 60% of his catches came behind the line of scrimmage. Over 60%. Basically, Kentucky just said, look, we know you've got speed, we know you've got some running ability, we're just going to dump it off to you and let you create for yourself. What's going to be interesting is to see how, we know he's got some yak ability, but how does he adjust to becoming a more well-rounded wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, look, he has to be able to do everything, but I know this. When you're athletic, when you're fast, and you have a bunch of gifts, there's always a place that we can find for you on the field, and they will find a way to take advantage of that speed and athleticism, that explosiveness. You just got to find opportunities to put the ball in his hands. You just don't find guys that are big and fast like that.
Thank you. With the 169th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, I hope it's me, I hope it's me, I hope it's me. The legendary Pittsburgh Steelers select Rowley Nowakowski, a tight end from Indiana. Go Steelers, beat 'em Bucks.
Oh, Red Lewis special over here. Red Lewis is somewhere doing cartwheels and jumping jacks because another Hoosier was picked.
13th tight end now.
13th tight end coming off the board. And look, there is something to what we've talked about with the tight ends. Nowakowski played a key role. Like all of the other stuff people talked about, Omar Cooper, Elijah Sherrod, the two running backs that played well, Fernando Mendoza. But this guy would be what I would consider a glue guy. When they needed things to happen, the ball found its way into his hands or he made a key block. And there is always a spot that you can find for those critical role players. And to me, it reminds me of Hayward's little brother. Cam Hayward's little brother who played that role for a long time for them that could do anything and everything. Just being able to just kind of be that key component that makes it happen.
Grüße nach Deutschland an die Patriots Community, an meine Frau Iris, an meinen Sohn Vincent und Floria Zaus. Ich liebe euch. With the 171st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Karen Prunty, defense back, Wake Forest. Go Pats!
All right, so this is a Wake Forest kid and actually an HBCU transfer who spent his first 3 seasons at North Carolina A&T. We haven't had an HBCU kid drafted just yet, but I know, Buck, you've been around a lot of those programs. What can this kid do?
Yeah, Aggie pride. We'll still call that out, even though he finished up at Wake Forest. And you just talk about being able to just stick and pick and cover and make plays on the ball and all those other things. And he won't get the credit, or HBCUs won't get the credit for developing him, but he was definitely developed at an HBCU. Showing up at Wake Forest, played well his final season, did some things that you love to see. Solid player.
Good short area quickness, tested really well. Was a good tester,
Well, back here on Draft Center, it's presented by FedEx, taking a look at Lorenzo Styles, another player from Ohio State taking off the board. He's heading down to New Orleans.
Man, clang-a-lang-a-lang, boy. I know the Styles family better get a good accountant, boy, at taxes. Go hit him up. But Styles, man, just the speed, explosiveness. Everyone's going to talk about the combine, but being able to make that conversion from wide receiver to defensive back, not only would give him a chance to make his way as a position player, but just think about from a special team standpoint, the advantages he has been a two-way player. Nice pick, man. The Styles family should be proud. 2 sons, same draft, both drafted. Nice.
Washington for Sonny. Lorenzo goes to, there they are right there.
Look at these dudes.
So Lorenzo's
Studs.
older than Sonny, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the last picture where Lorenzo was bigger than Sonny.
Yeah.
Yep, it was.
Yep, right on cue. Right on cue.
Who was it who said, I can't remember if it was you, Bucky, it sounds like something you would have said, that when the testing jumped off and everyone was so blown away, and there was somebody, and this sounds like something Bucky would say, was they've been in a backyard with a parachute on their back since they were 5,
from
probably.
the jump. Bro, Dad, look at the dad. Dad's in shape. Dad got them doing 100 jumping jacks right. As soon as they started walking, they're doing all of it. Presidential fitness test, all of it being able to get done.
Ravens, by the way, on the clock. That pick's coming up in just a moment here. Just in terms of the impact that he can have on that defense, what's the read?
Talking about Lorenzo Styles? Yeah. Well, look, I think now when you're a 5th-round pick, man, you're just trying to get in there and make the team, and then see if you can find a way to get right beside the special teams coach. Hey, what can I do? But I know this. He's not going to volunteer for it. They're going to put him at gunner right out the gate. He's going to be a gunner. He's going to be chasing the thing. Look at them kids now. Why are they going to bring my Tar Heels up on that one? Being able to do some other things. But the speed is real. Now can we refine the technique? Because he's a newbie to playing cornerback, it's going to take some time for him to figure that out. So you hope that he can flash.
The old rare
flash.
double bubble?
Yeah, he can flash as a special team until he can kind of refine his talents and technique.
And maybe he only is a lifetime special teamer. Those guys make good livings if you're really good at it. We have a different type of show. Like I just got done watching the Vanna White Price is Right during the breaks, and they're not long breaks, but sometimes the rabbit hole. It's easy to get into a rabbit hole. I didn't know she was on Price is Right.
I told you. Kyle Brandt told us about that. Yeah, it was a contestant. Told me that the other day.
She didn't win, by the way.
Didn't win.
No. She didn't.
You know why? You know why? She should have just said $1. You can't go wrong.
You can't always say $1.
You're good at that game, by the way. Price is Right.
Oh, that's for sure.
Told you the news yesterday. Ravens and Cowboys. Here we go. Going to Rio. First ever game there. We'll catch it this upcoming season. We'll find out what player will be making that trip.
With the 173rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Josh Cuevas, tight end, Alabama.
How many tight ends is this for?
15.
How about for the Ravens?
That is 2 now.
So they use him as a Y. They used him as an H-back at Alabama. He's got some toughness. He'll square up and sustain seal block. So he's not afraid to get after it a little bit. He's only 6'3 1/4, 246. So he's a little bit undersized to be a Y. But I really liked him on tape. I think he can exploit the middle of the field as a pass catcher, locates targets, and accelerates into them as a run blocker, as a move blocker. So he could do enough for you in line. He could do this really well. You saw that, man. He's clacking pads over there. So you want somebody for your running game who can move and get into space and force the game into an area where a big body on a smaller body, that's what he's able to do. And I really like that about Cuevas. He is a determined blocker for not being a 6'5", 255-pound tackle. So, you'll see the size, you see some of the pass catching, but he actually will get after it blocking too, and he is a capable pass catcher. I love this pick for the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is a make-it player.
Man, I just think about what all of these teams have done in terms of at the collegiate level in high school, find all these old basketball players, these tall guys walking the hall, put them at tight end, and just how we're seeing a different type enter the league. We're seeing these traditional wide tight ends that can block and do things, but also seeing these flex tight ends that create mismatches. And now these play callers in the National Football League are finding a way to really separate and distinguish which ones we need and how can we use them to our best to make sure we maximize the talent on our offense.
Ravens back on the clock with these back-to-back picks. We'll get their selection in just a moment here. Take me back to the scouting days as you see the entire round number 5 unfold. You get into round 5. 6 is around the corner. So is 7. When you're a scout at this point, do you just start getting a little bit louder? Maybe there's a guy that I saw at X school. No.
You speak when spoken to.
Okay.
And when you're down there, there ain't a whole lot of conversation like, hey, I did this. Sit back, and if they ask you a question, then you answer. But these are the conversations that should have been had before you get into day 3. You begin to have these conversations. But what is about to happen, when we get to the 6th round, that's when we begin to talk about free agents that we want. And if it's a free agent that we've identified, do we think we're going to need to draft him, or do we think we can get him on a phone call? And so you begin to weigh which ones are going to be harder to get, because the free agents that you want, but you may not be able to get as a free agent, we may draft him in the 6th or 7th round to make sure.
With the 174th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Adam Randall, running back, Clemson.
Man, this is something that when I tell you this, it's not going to look like his type, but he's a wide receiver that they moved to running back. His body type doesn't look like that. I don't know what wide receivers are 6'3", 232 pounds, but Adam Randall was that. And surprisingly, he has a little more pop than you would think in power, because you think when he plays outside as a wide receiver, he's going to be a little more finesse to his game. He has some power, he has some violence to it, can catch the ball out the backfield. Really intriguing pick for the Baltimore Ravens here in the 5th round. But the great thing for Adam Randall, he gets to see the king every day. He gets a chance to model his game after a guy that's going to be an all-timer in Derrick Henry. Good opportunity for him, and even better opportunity for the Ravens to expand what they do offensively, because you got a two-way player, a multi-purpose athlete at the position.
My comp on him was Kalen Ballage when he was coming out.
That's a nice comp.
Yeah, big running back who could catch the ball out of the backfield, former wide receiver. The hands aren't great, which is one of the reasons he moved. He wasn't super productive, but I think he's got a lot of potential. He just needs time to continue to develop becoming a running back. This is new to him, but when he gets those legs, he's 6'3", long legs, so it's tough to make the short area cuts and tight spaces. You kind of need to let him, just like Derrick Henry, get downhill, get the legs rolling, play some zone. You see right there, he's got some.
Okay, when did this become popular? I'm trying to figure out when everyone decided, you know what we're going to do? Hey, man, let's go in the backyard and push a car. I had never had that thought in my life.
You know why? Because you grew up in a day and age without social media.
That's true.
I mean, ever.
That's true.
On behalf of the Raider Nation, thank you very much to Pittsburgh for this great event. With the 175th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Hezekiah Masses, defensive back from California. Go Raider Nation!
Another Cal DB here. Not for nothing, I know Justin Wilcox isn't there, but the amount of guys that defense has put in the NFL over the last couple of years, pretty impressive.
Yeah, 3-year starter, 2 of the years at Florida International, full-time starter that is. So he's played a lot of football, and actually his tape is pretty good. He's taken a lot of snaps. He's got FBS leading ball production that really came out of nowhere this year, made a lot of plays in the football. His testing was just okay. I think they wanted to see a little better testing numbers, but he's got good instincts. He's got long speed to carry the vertical routes downfield, plays with good eye balance, and takes playmaking angles to the football. And that's what you'll notice on a lot of these plays is.
Back here on Draft Center, just a few moments ago, the Kansas City Chiefs selecting wide receiver Cyrus Allen. That is wide receiver number 26 right now that we've had heading into this 5th rounds. What separates some of these guys, by the way? I mean, I look at some of the production for some of these players. I mean, even in this 5th round, Kendrick Law, good production there. Like, what's the difference between a 5th round receiver like a Cyrus Allen, for example, and someone that we're talking about in round 2 or 3?
It's really not, man. It comes down to like styles and what you want. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And sometimes when it comes to the draft, things can get sideways. We talked about the domino effect. Sometimes you're sitting there and a player like Cyrus could have had a 2nd or 3rd round grade on your board, but you come up and there's another position of need with a player that has a similar grade, and so you go that route, not knowing that he's now going to be around in the 5th round. There's a randomness to the draft that you can't predict, and sometimes these players, obviously their fates are impacted by like the domino effect that we saw happen early in the draft at pick 4 with Cardinals 8, and how it changed the fate of so many other guys.
Yeah, I like Cyrus Allen. I'm trying to look this up. His agent, it says I was looking at his pro day results, pretty good pro day results. I thought he was a 4th round pick. His agent is Lance Moore. I'm trying to figure out if that's the same Lance Moore. Just thinking out loud here. Yeah. I can tell you though, Cyrus Allen can work all 3 levels of the field. He's one of those players that is unencumbered by the route tree. Sometimes you have level 1 guys, level 1 and 3 guys, speed like Omar Cooper a little bit. Cyrus Allen, there's a pretty good value here in the 5th round for the Chiefs because he's a guy who will fight for a wide receiver 5 spot, presumably. But because he can work all 3 levels and is a pretty good tester, I think he's got a chance to become maybe a factor on the roster.
Yeah, it's wild to me because every one of these guys, you had said it. I asked you a little while ago, hey, at what point do you start going, hey, I don't know if I want to hear my name called, and I'd rather get that free agency path and pick my squad. But I think if I'm a wide receiver and I know eventually I'll be able to play with Patrick Mahomes, come on, man.
You want that chance. Now, you ain't going. I'm just telling Cyrus, you ain't gonna catch no pass from Pat Mahomes in practice until you have to wait. You have to wait until you kind of get into that rotation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can catch from Justin Fields in them.
Yeah, by the way, Lance Moore, former Cowboy wide receiver, is the agent for the player Cyrus Allen just taken. Bucky, you played in the league. How come you're not an agent?
No. I'm not
NIL agent and NFL agent?
Go get that bag, Buck.
Bucky Brooks?
Oh, you don't need the bag.
You coach right now also?
No patience to be chasing around. I am good.
You got your kids.
Good. I am good.
With the 177th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kevin Coleman Jr., wide receiver, Missouri.
Man,
All right, another wide receiver.
Miami
So that's
How many
27.
wide receivers is there for the Miami Dolphins? There has to be like 3 or 4 that they've taken.
They needed
just
a ton
in
of
this draft
receivers.
This is their third, and they also have a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, they are bringing pass catchers galore, and they had some guys that they had tricked into coming out there prior to that. Now, all those dudes are mad. Undersized tight end, great quickness, nice hands, can make things happen, but at that size, you're going to have to be able to do it. What you see on the screen is going to be his path to being able to do it. Punt return, average 12.5 yards a punt return. He's going to have to make something happen in the kicking game to give himself a legitimate shot. But I like the toughness, being able to go across the middle. Solid prospect, big opportunity for him for a team that doesn't have an established number one. Nice spot for him.
First of all, I just want to thank the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL for everything they are doing for flag football in Brazil and around the world. And with the 178th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Cole Payton, quarterback, North Dakota State. Go Birds! Let's go!
That's another quarterback off the board. Time for Air and Ground Players to Watch, presented by FedEx. Cole Payton out of North Dakota State.
Where's he going?
Going to Philadelphia.
Ooh.
Let's go. Second quarterback whose name has been called today, 6th overall in this class. How about a lefty?
Yeah, lefty, strong arm. There are a lot of people that were buzzing on Cole Payton.
Yeah.
5th round is about where he goes. Had an opportunity to play in the Senior Bowl. I think, look, he's a rugged player. You'll see him run around and make some plays and do those things. I would say he's still a work in progress as a passer. Some would say that what you're doing is you're putting him with a team that understands how to develop that type, meaning Jalen Hurts was maybe a little more of a roughneck quarterback before he became a polished player and a Super Bowl MVP. And Cole Payton, you just wonder, is he athletic enough to do some of the things that he's doing there? Now, competition level makes a difference because he was dominating those guys, but give him credit. Young man's made his way to the league, and the Philadelphia Eagles pride themselves in being a quarterback factory. They got another project to develop.
With the 179th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Enrique Cruz Jr., tackle, Kansas.
I like this pick. Enrique Cruz, long arms, was a good tester. I turned on the tape on him, and one of the things that stood out to me, you can see he's played left tackle, right tackle. He's probably a right tackle in the league. But one of the things that stood out is I thought he had a really good game against Missouri. And you had a couple of dogs over there, including Zion Johnson, and the other rusher slips my name. He went to Miami in the portal. He was going into the draft and then came back, and he's going to Miami in the portal. But Enrique Cruz tested really well, moves really well. He's got the long arms. Like I said, there is right there, you see him locking up one of the defensive ends from Missouri, and both of them are high caliber NFL caliber players. You see him on the move here, that shows off the testing, his ability to move. He's a little bit straight line-ish, so he's got to become a little bit better in terms of adjusting to movement up front. But Enrique Cruz has some traits and has some ability here to become a swing tackle. I also wonder maybe if guard is one of the positions that San Francisco might give him a shot at.
Listen, this isn't just another name on the card. This is living proof that the dream is possible. And with that, with the 180th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Seydou Traore, tight end, Mississippi State, IPP. Let's go.
IPP stands for International Player Pathway. And former goalkeeper from London-born, yeah?
Let's go.
Bruv. He has the ability to become a much better player than he is right now. And what I mean by that is he's still very much in the developmental phase. Didn't start playing 11-on 11 football, we considered standard NFL caliber football, until he was until 2020. So
don't tell the young kids that 7-on-7 stuff is pretty popular.
Yeah, no, it is. One of the things that stands out is he's actually a good blocker on the move. Not so great at the point of attack. There's still some issues that need ironed out in terms of technique, which is understandable. When you get him on the move.
With the 181st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Zane Durant, defensive tackle, Penn State.
All right, so another defensive tackle now off the board. This is a dude, two-time second-team All-Big 12 Conference player. Another big body that potentially helps that team's defense.
But that's not what it was. It was the start of the combine, right? Like, he lit up the combine with the speed and explosiveness. We talked about the athletes that you want. Now, I will say this. I know people, my Penn Staters gave James Franklin a tough time, but he changed and upgraded the athletic profile of the guys that came from Penn State.
Sure did.
We think about the number of guys that have been drafted from Penn State of late. A lot of that is due to the recruiting and the people that they're bringing in. Zane Durant as a guy athletically is an absolute freak show at the point of attack. Undersized by traditional methods, but his speed, explosiveness, quickness, he's going to be a fun player to watch as Jim Leonhard gets comfortable trying to vary the scheme to get his best athletes on the field.